Note to self, do not stop the Wi-Fi. All right. That was bad. That was bad. That was scuff. That was big scuff. Yep. Now, let's do it the right way. Okay, quick stream today. Quick. Quick stream part 2. Definitely looking cool. Need lava. Need lava here, need lava light there. Needs a lot of things. Here, Tektite, lava light. Tektite, lava light. Let's go here. Let's see what that does. That could work. Always tricky. Let's see here. Sensitivity looks okay. Pen. A little firmer. Better. The feel of this pen is so different. Gnarly and weird. Got about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, if I push it, to kick ass on this right now. So not a lot of time to waste. Right now I'm sort of indicating the effect of light that we don't even see right now, because the bounced light that is causing this effect isn't even drawn yet. It's waiting in the wings. I know it'll be there. It's going to be the bounced light from the lava gases, essentially, that are going to be sort of all over the scene, around and behind them. And Link has some of this affecting him already, but we don't have it yet in the scene. Technically, yeah, it won't be streaming long. I've got about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. But yeah, join in. It's a race against time. Get as much shit done as I possibly can. Right now I'm trying to draw in the effect of like orange. There's going to be bounced light. If you could imagine behind this Tektite, there's going to be this orange cloud. Not orange cloud, but it's like there's gases that are being kicked up by the lava. And those gases are going to sort of softly reflect light onto the top planes of this Tektite. Sort of giving them a glowy effect. Link has already had this treatment, but it was a little presumptive. But it needs it here. And the thing is I have to, because the gas itself is going to be something that once it's introduced, it'll sort of corrupt the scene, meaning the color information that it'll impede will be it'll be tainted. So we won't be able to be objective about color after we add the gas. So it's something I want to do later. You know, soon, but later. First, I want to add the effect of the light. So it's tricky. It's a little bit putting the cart before the horse, but I think it's a good idea. In the background here. Oh yeah, I need to do a little bit more. Okay, I need to remember to save out a fresh version. So I'm doing that now. We're on Wi-Fi, so that's great. It's going to be lots of dropped frames. Here. Where are these highlights? Mountain deets. Okay. Wow, way down there. That's funny. Something here that help it feel like there's an overlap available. Like stepping on something other than a shadow. Ink flats and yeah, lurk while I lurk while I work. That is the lurking while you work. 5 p.m. breakfast. I was like, wait a second, 5 p.m. breakfast. And it's a Pepsi can. That's awesome. Misfit X Queen is living their best life. Is it dinner? Is it breakfast? It's Pepsi. That would actually be a fun ad campaign, like what time is it? Who cares? Just drink a Pepsi. It's like, I'm hungry. Oh, I got you. Here's a Pepsi. Score. All right, looking good, looking good. All right, I'm gonna start. I can't help it. I need to. I'm itching. All right, I'm going to do one more, maybe a couple more things to lava. Really small. Lava deets. Where are they? Whoa, all the way down there. Okay. Someone's raiding in. Oh, people are here. They're here. They can lurk if they feel like lurking. No one has to announce their gloves raid. What does this mean? Hi, people. Okay, what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to say shout out, right? Did I do this right? Gloves is our little mascot. How do I do this? Do I type shout out into chat? Is that what I do? I'm old. So I'm not good at doing these things. Here, let me just guess. Is it like this? Shout out. No, that's not it. It's probably got a slash. Oh, SO. Yeah, yeah. Let me just try and do this raw. Will that work? Oh, that command. Wait, will this work? Does that work? That doesn't do anything. That didn't work. Hold on. Just let. It should be. Oh. Oh yeah, and then it lights up all these things. Let's see if that works. Hey, I did it. I was about to say, let me get my glasses. Put on my things. Are you all Zelda fans? All right. I don't know what a shout out does. I don't know what it does, but I'm slowly remembering. This is a here. Let me make some things disappear. Okay. Are you guys Zelda fans? Do you know what Zelda is? Zelda is peak. This is a fun personal artistic project I've been working on. Okay, yeah. No, the olds are taking over Twitch. This is what I'm saying. Okay. Hey, Rico and Co. Rico and Taco and Co. and Taco and Co. Seem cool, so follow them. If you like Zelda art, I've been embarking on a fun. I mean, some of these are better than others. This one was a struggle. That's an old school Moblin. If you're old like me, you'll recognize that some of these are from like the really early franchises. So like that's a BMOS in the background. I'm a professional storyboard artist, but I'm pretending I'm a bit of a concept artist for this project and thinking about. Oh, let me zoom in a little more. Can I get the right? I can't get the right. Yeah, the Adobe Bridge is lame. It won't let me get in there 100%, but anyway. My coloring process. Are you drawing a peach reach gam? It kind of is a it's kind of a what would I do if I was a storyboard artist / concept artist on the film. I actually work professionally on game trailers. I've done storyboards for game trailers like Call of Duty and Clash of Clans and Apex Legends and League of Legends and like that Batman VR stuff. So translating video game properties into cinematic stuff can be tricky. It's not like a one-to-one thing. I have some experience with it, so it's it's a difficult challenge that I'm at least used to sort of looking into. But I really haven't done like finished color work. All my stuff is all my stuff is storyboard stuff, so it's like in black and white, It's like sketches, and I do fine. I'm not complaining, but work for everybody is kind of slow, and this is something where I'm seeing an opportunity, at least in my downtime, to sort of branch out a little bit, look into different ideas for, if nothing else, strengthening my skill and maybe thinking about getting into sort of demoing and teaching and thinking. So all this dovetails with the Twitch stuff. You see, it wasn't necessarily a perfect plan at the beginning, but it's sort of evolving over time to being a decent strategy. So this is one. Your lighting and rendering is insane. Wow, you got any tips for rendering more 3D? My whole process is like, I'm used to working with no, think about this like real, so that we can pass it over to like a 3D pipeline. It's not necessarily trivial to say just think about it in 3D, but actually you can almost see that, like, even in here, just for like a demonstration, I drew like a little diagram of like, and honestly, so this is the best advice I ever got, which is like, your designs can look like strange as hell, but if you treat the light as real, the drawing will come across as realistic, because the way something looks real is how the effect of the light. So you could see I was like, here's the camera, here's one light source and it's dim from behind the camera. Here's the other light source, it's coming through like an opening in the ceiling. Like, so even though this is underground, we're adding light from the sky anyway, right? And they've got different properties, and it's tricky. It's like, this isn't like oh, you just like, oh, it's yellow light, bust out the yellow crayon. It's not that simple. But I do take the time to like do it the hard way. It all starts with a rough sketch, but you know, you work it, and you work it, and you work it, and you work it. So this is the final piece here. This is, you know, if you're old like me, you played the first Zelda. There was that bad guy, the Manhandla. It was like a four-headed artichoke trying to bite the shit out of you. This one is my favorite, but you know, it's like, sometimes things do well, get lots of likes. Sometimes people are confused at what they're looking at because it's not a popular Zelda thing. Part of the problem is I'm not putting enough Princess Zelda into these. I think these would be a lot more popular if I did. So I'm going to try and work on that. But so you can see that these are really just, they can start almost like cartoony, you know. I start with like a dark thing. These are actually colored more brightly, and then I darken it all on purpose. Sometimes you have to draw what you love instead, right? Yeah. And I love Link kicking ass, which is why I've been focusing more on him. But I need to get the message out to the people. So here, I'll just give you guys a quick thing. You can see from here to here, I'm adding a sort of ambient blue light to the scene. Adding blue light here, blue light to the mountain, blue light again, additional passes in blue light, and then thinking about, then the Sextro in the chat was here when I was sort of coming up with this, like, fuck, let's put a bunch of lava in the back, and give it a cool backlight. Yeah. And so then you're adding warm light, right, to where it belongs. And you can see I was like experimenting with different layouts. Darkening everything is interesting. I usually start dark 2 and add light on top. That's what I'm trying to do, is make this approach more popular, because everybody like starts too bright and then shades. And they additionally start too saturated, and then they have nowhere to go. The process I'm using is a little bit agnostic to all that. It's not, I just use the RGB sliders. Okay, so here now we're caught up. And, well, this could be fun. If you stick around, you'll see some cool things, because what I haven't added yet to this is oh, and this is going to be the next one. This is hard to see. Let me zoom in on it a little bit. Again, this is they're dark, but this one's on deck, and this is like Link and Zelda, and they're like sort of trying to escape from a whole village of it's like a moblin, a bunch of bokoblins, and this is in a forest. I hate to use the reference, but it's almost like, you know, the Ewoks or whatever, but of course it's the inverted, because they're bad guys, right? So they're zoom in on all these guys. There's probably, you can see they're just like pouring in from all over. They've all got their things. This rope bridge took forever. There's all these guys dangling and falling. And this one at least has Zelda, right? Come on. Oh, it won't let me do it, but there you go. I really should have. Yeah, they're a lot of what my job, you know, because I do. It's a little bit of a cheat because I do work in Hollywood. But if you've not noticed, the horrible, mince my words sometimes, but there are disruptive tech companies that have basically taken over Hollywood and really screwed everything up. And so now entertainment companies make money by firing people and canceling projects instead of actually making things. And it's really, and the AI stuff, yeah. Although you'll have to, interestingly enough, because I think about this too, this project was absolutely born out of AI because I am so absolutely mad and sick of like they're being like, oh, well, AI has to be the solution or whatever like that. And I'm like, no, human beings are way more creative and can do way more, and like I'm gonna fucking prove it. And so I just got on live streaming and I'm like, I'm just gonna keep drawing until something cool happens. And at the very, even if nobody watches it, I'll at least have put it out there and theoretically have some cool portfolio pieces. Interestingly enough, my intent was never to color these, so I've been sort of learning the color on the fly and a lot of this stuff. But anyway, so that's the spiel. It's kind of cool to have. I'm not sure how many people are watching, but it's a little bit of an audience. All right, so there's 6 viewers, it says. Okay, that's cool. I usually watch this without the view count up. So what I'm going to do right now, then we're going to see how this adds stuff in. So you guys are going to see some cool things happen in real time. I'm going to get this close to finished in the next 45 minutes. Okay, so you can see, you see all this. I talk a lot on stream too. I talk a lot about it on stream too. Funny how that works. Yeah, absolutely. I've been posting these. They get followed. Here, let me. Do I even have my thing up? Yeah, I used to have. I have 2 different setups. I'm at. That's a little cringe, but I'm at my parents' house right now. I like to. It's winter break. I have small children. What are your links? I can do something real quick. Let's see here. Well, you know, certainly follow me on Twitch if you. Oh, I see you already are. That's awesome. Here we go. Instagram. And I like the Tumblr now too. The good thing isn't working. Here, I think can't I just chat it in the Twitch? Here, let me figure this out. I'm an old guy, but I'll figure this out. Channel. Okay, turn off this. Okay, very good. Okay. Insta is here, study, studio, Max. And then Tumblr is, I think it's just Max Fwid, right? My last name is Forward. Yeah, then I'm plugging my socials. Newgrounds might be an interesting social media place to talk to. I've heard about Newgrounds. Don't they post the offensive cartoons? This is what YouTube tells me. No, it's like any place where. Thank you, Sextrum. No, I come from an animation. My parents were animators, so the world of animation is not is a complicated and varied and rich one. So okay, so what I'm going to do is add some. We need to be adding the particles and atmospherics at this point. Here we go. Rock 1. Okay, so you can see everything's on its own layer. Need to make sure that everything looks cool. But a little bit, even just the tiniest bit of atmosphere will add a lot of depth. Where's my big air pencil? Here we go. This is the air pencil. This is the biggest brush I can get around with. Newgrounds is a bit underground in a way, haha, but you get some real genuine people. That's what I'm sort of realizing, is that I'm making too many sort of like assumptions about like, oh, well, that is for that, and this is for that. And I'm like, you know what? I don't know anything. I'm here to learn now. I don't know what all it. Who cares what one thing seemed to be? Like I signed up for a Tumblr account in like 2011 and did nothing with it and assumed it was useless. And now like I've been posting there and people there are awesome. Although I did get a AI accusation, but that was quickly retracted because of course I've got all my receipts. This is it's all part of my plan. I was actually sort of like hoping that would happen eventually because I was like, I'm locked and loaded and ready to go. But you can see like a little bit of atmosphere can start making interesting separations. We really need to have atmosphere pretty much everywhere. These two rocks in the foreground need to feel like they're in the foreground. I'm going to bring some light there. Yeah, the internet is the internet. It's like there shouldn't surprise anybody what happens when humans are able to be themselves without anonymously, sort of like the Invisible Man, you know. All right, here, atmosphere. Here's this Tektite, front Tektite. There were the process in which I drew this was not necessarily the most expedient way. So I'm kind of getting a little bit of disorientation from, it's hard to explain, but like a rock that might look like it's in the background might be on a foreground layer, and that wouldn't matter as far as the light was concerned, even though it doesn't make sense. But now that I'm adding atmospheric layers in between things, it does matter. So I need to make that separation happen, which unfortunately is not interesting because it involves dragging layers around. Not necessarily super interesting to watch, but you can kind of see those effects happening. You should create a link tree. I was thinking about this. You can link all your social in one place and share that link anywhere. I was not thinking about doing that. I'm going to do it. It's on my list now. So you guys can see that, like, I'm thinking, like, if I turn this on and off, I've got certain types of light attributed to certain layers, so I can even control for those exposures. The internet is pretty bad at the moment, but wishing you well for your stream. All right, yeah. Cool, I'll follow you too. I'll stay lurking around. All right, yeah. Anybody can, no one has to, you know, chat to me to make me feel good either. I need to concentrate, but I appreciate the raid in. I'll pop by your stream sometime. Part of me forgets that, like, people are raiding in, and that's like because they need to they need to go. All right, let's see here. So there's that Tektite, and we need link here. So behind these two, we need some atmosphere. Let's see what happens. I don't want to go too crazy with it. It's like less is more sometimes, you know? looks right. Looks okay for now. So many rocks. Let's see here. Okay, mountain flats. Okay, so behind this, we need like a big orange lava cloud. Don't know if I want it to be super saturated, but it's got to be something. You can see how from here, those spiders in the background don't necessarily look like they're on the wrong layer, but if I paint into it like this, you can see the difference. So all that does need to get fixed. Yeah, they are. They're defining space and time. So that Tektite. Basically, all of these Tektites have to get moved back. Hey Talbot, how are you? I'm on it for a little bit longer, doing it. Trying to thread the needle between too much and not enough. This Tektite can get off the ship. Too much what? Too much atmosphere and not enough. Essentially, it's going to it's like a needed thing. Is I need to add like gas and atmosphere to create like atmospheric perspective. And it's not like the world's craziest mandate, but it is something that would be natural to the scene. And I want it to be there. But I don't necessarily want too much of it because I don't actually think it will look good with too much. But it's a pretty normal thing for me to feel like I need to do more or need to do less. Okay. This Tektite can go here. And maybe if the rest of these are just sort of in the back, that'll be fine. I don't want to just add for the sake of adding. if I get sloppy with it, there'll be a lot of unintended consequences. I think I can cut into this. Let's see what that does. Aha, that's interesting. It's a little jarring. How about I select out and then erase into that? A little more subtle, a little better. If I can, so sort of like, what is the minimal amount I can get away with? Or so like, really, what does it need? Now that the background is a little bit lighter, it's competing too much here with this boulder that's supposed to be in the foreground, which means makes sense to darken these a bit more. This one. Not to the extreme, but something. Same here. Okay, that's good. What about this one? Nope. What about this one? There we go. Turn that one down a bit. Okay, and then especially up here. Here, so that's supposed to be, I think it's called Dinral. The big sky dragon. Yeah, there it is, Dinral. Needs a little atmosphere up there too. I want it a little bit hidden, you know, not obvious. Definitely also need, whoa, something that feels like it's burning. A little bit of, well, that's a lot, but the dodge and burn tool, double-edged sword, but feels like way too much. Can back that off a bit. Then maybe the dragon can just sort of suck it down a little bit. I want it there like as an Easter egg. It's not there to take over. This rock is hitting way too. Yeah, sort of hitting way too hot. Just a little. Bit of atmosphere. Knock it back. Now, let's do some particles. And like the gas, or sorry, like the atmosphere, it has to go at key places in between, sort of where it makes sense for stuff like that to go. What's that tool? My sprinkle airbrush. Here we go. Kicking up. Particles of all shapes and sizes. And again, it's tough to not overdo it, right? I want it to look like fireworks are just exploding everywhere. hard to just get the right amount. Might even be easier just to draw them individually, but try this for now. Okay. Some of this will be lit a little bit by the lava light. There'll be way too much fine-tuning to go even after the particles are in, so I'm definitely not going to be finished, but pleased with the progress nonetheless. Okay, here. This has to be the most, far and away the most amount of layers I've had on a project. Mountain particles. But I want it to be actually lava particles. Finally bringing those back. Glow. Now we've waited so long, let's justify a little bit of a cheat with the glow. overdo it. I said, don't overdo it. It's feeling pretty good. I feel like this rock needs to go much farther in the background. Or more in the foreground. One or the other. Let's try moving it up. Maybe we just take this down a little bit. Okay, I know I'm overdoing it with the particles, but we do need something to sort of represent some gore splatter here with the Tektite. So children, avert your eyes. This will be a little ooey gooey. I mean, it won't be bad at all, but sort of pushing it with the Zelda gore. And now, oop, see that? That won't do. And this may not do it right. So, and that's okay. We do it by hand, that's fine. A little bit of help is not bad. Yeah, it shouldn't look like it's exploding with confetti. A lot of trial and error with this tool. I should add a bunch like hitting his face, like splat. Some stuff up here isn't tracking right, so that's to be worked on. It's like it doesn't know if it wants to be bright or dark, maybe desaturated. The brightness doesn't necessarily hurt it. Don't hit hue shift. Here we go. Yeah, that's funny. The value. That's not too bad. think the lines on this guy are a little much. Let's see here. Front Tektite lines. Bring those down, that eye highlight. Take that down. Add some blood. Tektite blood is whatever. It's like purple, right? Everybody knows that. So one thing that's happening now is, which is why I wait to the last minute to start doing the atmosphere stuff, is now that there's an atmosphere like sort of on top of almost every every layer to at least some degree, there's that adds a tint to the colors underneath, which means the eyedropper tool loses its accuracy. So to me, it's like, cool, this is it, but like there's layers on top of atmosphere, like the atmosphere affecting this is far more obvious. So I'd know better, but over here I might not know better. I can't necessarily tell the difference, but there probably is still some atmosphere on top of it. I'm just trying to get a sense of the color. I'm not really going crazy with it, but the just something to watch out for. Get myself into trouble making too many assumptions that I did things the right way. How does one... Let me get my tip back to the proper sensitivity. I don't want to necessarily... If I make it too much, it'll be bad. So I'm just going to do a little trial and error, try to see what I can do to get something that feels like it satisfies my bloodlust, but also won't require like a not safe for work tag or, you know, something ridiculous that it doesn't need and won't enhance the experience. It can be interesting. Blood here sort of like implies a little bit of like a secondary action, like an animation that's where like a character can turn their head and then their hair will follow, but they don't happen at the same time. So if it feels like there's a trail, like that's all the better. Something that feels like it not only like we're catching the action of the thing like mid-twirl, right? Not too obvious. I don't want to stretch people's imagination to the point of breaking, but something like that could be cool. That's probably way too gory for Zelda stuff, but let's see. Maybe we can somehow hide it. All right, if we're adding, even if it's blood, it's going to have light affecting it, right? And that's the problem with it. I already made it too bright and too saturated, so let's make it darker. More desaturated. No, not black. Wow, yeah, that got dark quick. Okay, let's see how that kind of feels more realistic. Lava light to blood. It's the same formula as everything else. We use the RGB sliders to add equal points are red, green, and blue, which adds white light if we keep it in the same proportion, and then adding the orange on top of that, which is a lot of red and a little yellow, a little bit of green. Gets us here, which is a very gray pink. Color might be unexpected at first, but we can also remember that the blue light can hit it too. So if we go back, meaty like a crab, full of steamy juices. I'm not sure how crabs live on the mountain. Well, actually, sort of interesting. I talk too much of my worldly travels, but I went to Costa Rica for a couple weeks, a sort of an adventurous honeymoon with my wife, and we were staying at an ecological retreat up in the it's essentially like the rainforest on the beach on the side of a mountain. It was literally one of the alternate shooting locations that they had for the original Jurassic Park film. Like when they wanted the really rainy, we need rain, we need angry rain, we need angry forests and stuff like that. We need danger, we need primeval shit. That was the location. So we were there in the thick of it. Not in the jungle, that's not where we were sleeping, but it was where okay, here we're adding blue light to juxtapose. So we were there, and then it was raining one day. It was just raining so hard. It was the world's worst honeymoon. Yeah, no, it was the worst honeymoon location. It was like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom romance. It was so bad. We'd wake up with bugs crawling all over us. We're like, what the hell did we do? We're from LA, so we thought, we'll just go to we'll just go on an eco retreat to an exotic location. It'll be perfect. And it was whoa, that was crazy. But anyway, it turns out that we were there. There's a 1-day crab migration that happens. There's so much biodiversity in Costa Rica that every day there's a migration of something. And one particular day there was a crab migration. It was just basically, it was their day to come down the mountain and go to the ocean and spawn or whatever they do. So we're like, I'm exiting our little bungalow or whatever, and there's like a river of crabs that's just like going from the top of the mountain down, and I had to tiptoe in between all these little crabs. So I may have squished one. That wasn't a good feeling. The little crabs were cool. It's sort of an amazing thing. Costa Rica is an amazing place. Just don't go there on your honeymoon would be my advice. Okay, this is looking really cool. What I want to do is just tackle some things that are quickly still sort of bothering me. Yeah, it was definitely an experience. Howler monkeys, all sorts of stuff keeping me up all night. I did come away with a greater appreciation of the difference in, ways of life, like the way we live life in the States, for instance, is, sort of an illusion, It's not necessarily sort of like freeing my mind to be open to experiencing the world from a different POV was invaluable. I really appreciated that. It took a while for me to sort of uncork a little bit because Hey Uchi, what's going on? Good to see you. Yeah, the living or being born and raised in LA, where everything just sort of feels like the infrastructure for stuff is different. Like in Costa Rica, the infrastructure is there. It's just different, So just because it wasn't the way I wanted it to be, didn't mean it was bad. I had to understand that I needed to grow up a little bit. And, so if I didn't get a confirmation code for my reservation for, a bus rental or something like that, that's their way. They don't just, in a world where they recognize as like one-use pieces of paper that are destined for a landfill as bad things. Yeah, they don't just hand you a receipt, for every damn purchase you make. It just goes in the trash and then they have to deal with it, right? So why would they do that? Their ways are different. My Christmas was good. Surviving Christmas. This is the gauntlet for me because Christmas and then on New Year's Day is my wife's birthday. So I have to make her feel special on a holiday that is sort of everybody's always hungover and almost nobody can like make it over to wish her a happy birthday and stuff like that. So essentially we have to throw a party on New Year's Day on New Year's Eve in order to have people be present and see my wife on New Year's Day, which is her birthday. So the obligations on me are considerable. And of course, it's like I just spend all my money on Christmas. I have no money for throwing a party, much less buying gifts for my wife. Yet I must, because I love her and she deserves it. But it's tricky. Okay, we got lava particles here. Now, one thing I want to try is, can I make those look cooler? No, I don't want it looking like that. That's way too much. Screen. Brighter. Can I add a little bit of... Let's do a quick save. Anyway, so if my wife and I can survive a honeymoon in Spiderland, the land of bugs, crazy bugs, then we knew we could survive marriage. Let's see here. So a zoom blur effect here. It's kind of interesting. I don't want it too explodey, but that could look cool. Oh, whoops, no. Let's not crash my system. Spartaland, you mean Australia? Yeah, Australia would be, I've heard that can be extremely, like everything there is poisonous, everything there is trying to kill you, right? Zoom blur. But definitely got to flatten them. Okay, flatten that. Try it again. Let's quickly add some scuff to Link in a few other areas. Zoom in a bit. Talbot had the inspiration of sort of and logic of adding soot on the surfaces where it made sense, and I very much agree. It makes sense. Now let's make sure it looks cool. And it should. If I don't overdo it. Can't let things get looking too clean, right? That is part of the idea. Is I'm not into the pretty Link. Yeah, the Lord of the Rings grid. Yeah, this is like Mount Doom. Throw it in, Isildur. Cast it into the fires of Mount Doom. No. It's a fun. Ooh, I can. Get a little Link spit. A little Link hock to a. No. There we go. Okay. the scuff, how I think of it is just, I mean, we'll call it scuff. I know scuff is like when streamers mess up their stuff, but I think it definitely applies here. Just little bits of crap and cuts and things that not to let it look too perfect. Come in. Hey, man. I'm gonna finish up soon.
Yes, I understand that. I'm going to.
Do you need more whiskey?
Clean it up what you got, and then yes.
Okay. Here, you got to pour. I'm busy. My brother Boxer is wandering in to steal whiskey.
You are also streaming.
I'm streaming. Are you streaming too?
Yes.
Oh, no wonder I'm drop framing. It's all good. Let me be done in a minute. Well, maybe I'll raid into you. You took a break? Not that it matters, but...
I did.
Okay.
Hi, chat.
There he is. There's that handsome fellow. Let's,
Uchi Poppy and Sextra.
Mm-hmm. All right. Look at that smile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It is what it is. All right.
All right.
Take care.
Sorry.
Any other trash?
Wrong button. Yeah, this is trash.
That.
Thanks, bro.
This.
Yeah. Is that your whiskey? That's not for me. I can't drink that. I gotta go soon. I mean, I can drink it, but I will not. We take turns being bad influences on each other. More scuff. I was away from the keyboard, but the Haktua mention took me out. That's funny. I'm sorry. I mean, I can't help it. I watch cringe, not cringe, but like, you know, those YouTube drama. Here's the week in YouTube drama. Let's see here. Tektite scuff. This is like the whole aesthetic of my project is like, it's Zelda, but then less pretty, right? Add the dirt, add the grime, add the cuts, add the violence. Oh, that looks cool. Yeah, I'm just doing my due diligence, trying to learn about what are the kids into? What are the streamers getting into these days? What to do and what not to do. This week of YouTube drama brought to you by Shamik Moore. I don't know who that is. A lot of this week's distractions, like with Christmas and stuff, have and hi, Squirrel Reaper. Good to see you. From what last I looked, the big scandal was that that Honey app or browser extension was really an affiliate poacher or something like that. So basically, it scammed a bunch of people out of their affiliate commissions or something. He's Miles Morales, his voice actor. Oh, okay. Did he do something bad? Did he say the wrong thing about Disney or something? Or Sony, I should say, right? Anyway, we don't have to get into it unless you want to discuss, but he simped super hard for his co-star. I don't get the I mean, in some ways it's totally creepy and shouldn't happen, but then in other ways it's sort of like sometimes people catch feelings. I don't know. I don't know any details about it. He probably did something terrible and I don't know. Then posted another actress on his Instagram after his co-star posted she's engaged to someone else. Interesting. Okay, here's a little bit of a bad sport about it. Okay, there's definitely too much scuff. If I look at it and I see the scuff, I don't want to see it. I just want to see it looking natural. So, and then the other actress said she doesn't know why he posted that because she's also engaged. Okay. So basically, he was a creep. Simping gone wrong. Blinded by the simp. If one simps, simp respectfully. I agree. Simp responsibly. That should be the motto. You know, instead of drink responsibly. Dilly dilly. Oh man, it's definitely getting on with time. Gonna have to call it a stream in a second. Sap away some of the overdone scuff. Didn't need all of that, but glad we have some. Okay, this is feeling pretty solid. Oop, feeling pretty solid. I think. Okay, so this will be interesting. How's holidays going? It's good. Here, I see there's some people in the chat. I want everybody to wait 5 seconds because I'm going to do something cool. Because part of my process is sort of holding back to take things to the, like when I make a mark or a tone or or put down a color. That's not meant to be something that is the final. Like the final, really what we're doing here is we're adding information, building up. It's almost like creating a composited image. It's just like Lord of the Rings. Like they shoot and they light a set, and then they shoot it, and then they light something else and they shoot it, then they cut them out and they put them together, and then they synthesize them, and then they get them just right, and then they do more stuff to them. And so the final image that ends up being on the thing is very different from sometimes what they were shooting in the first place. Here we can see so much progress being made. We'll go back to the beginning. We'll see this. And if I step through this, you can see all the little parts going through, seeing all the things, adding in the light sources one by one, treating them, thinking about different things, different effects. I think we're about here. Yeah, so this is it. Oh, I haven't saved the final. Hold on, let's get there. So let's save. And then the final thing is we actually expose it, which is different because the exposure is that's like a photo. We're building up something that feels like a photograph. Yeah, it'll change a lot. Even probably the biggest dramatic change is what happens when we get the exposure done. And this will be it's difficult for me to visualize the drawing so far. Okay, so if this was the original sketch, you could see you need the lighting to be as close as possible early. And I kind of agree. It's not ideal that for me that the drawing changes so much during the exposure side, but it's better to understate your saturation and understate your light. Like if you talk to any photographer, what's better to overexpose or underexpose your thing? They'll always say you always want a little bit underexposed or it's like cooking, right? If it's overcooked, that's bad. Undercooked is also bad, but you definitely don't, at least if it's undercooked, you can cook it a little bit more, right? You have some place to go. You can't undo overcooking, right? You can't, you add too much salt, you're done. You want to get it as close to it as possible, but not past that threshold. And if you need to stay on the safe side, then that's okay. You can add salt bit by bit. Yeah, add per taste, right? So if you have a drawing and you've already got the brightest white, let's look at this for a second. We see this whole image. Let's select the whole thing, and okay, so this, okay. Okay, delete that, whatever it is. Okay, here, this is a safe layer that we can mess around with. If we what's the brightest part of this image? To me, it's pretty clear that it's right here on the glint of the sword, and that's not by accident. So here, if we click here, how bright is that? So it's this bright, but we've got a long way to go before it's white, right? We're keeping that in reserve. Also the same thing with saturations. We see a lot of dynamic color here, but that doesn't mean that it is that doesn't mean that it's super saturated. The reason why we see a lot of color is because we've got complementing colors. So the blue light is acting with contrast, which allows the orange light to feel saturated even if it isn't saturated. So these are saturated over here, but look, it's not saturated like this, way over here, Whereas if I was coloring without my method, I would totally be all the way over here by now. There'd be no place for it to go. Even over here, it's saturated, but it's not way over here, So that stuff is kept in reserve. These feel super blue, right? But if you go in here, they're not that blue, It's mostly gray. Most things are just mostly gray. at least in this image. Now, if we go here, we just mess with the brightness contrast. That's not the right thing. Here we go. So keep the contrast. Something like this is probably closer. Right, and now we've exposed it to get this so much closer to white, right? So it's the power of, and so like this, I mean, fuck, I should just sign in and post it to Instagram. It's like, what am I going to do that anybody's going to notice at this point, right? Although now I see stuff like here, like what are all these little blobs? There's some finessing little to do, you know, but they're all in separate layers. I can dig those out. Meanwhile, it's like basically done. You know, looks pretty rad. Like it explodes out. And then if we go back to the way it was, it's like, whoa, you just sucked all the life out of it, man. Well, the life was there. It's like when you record music or whatever, like say if like someone is, you know, you can speak into the microphone in like a normal speaking voice, but if you want to have that accessible to people in a giant auditorium, you got to crank that, you know, in the, you don't need the person, you wouldn't tell the person to shout into the microphone in order to make that happen. You would tell them, you know, you speak, but we're going to take that information, we're going to process it. So that's how it would go. I feel like that is a decent analogy for the process. But anyway, here's the thing. So that's good. Okay, I'm going to, I don't know. I'll sleep on this maybe one more day, or I'll just pull the trigger on it tonight. But do a quick thumbnail and then I'll do a quick sign off. Okay. This does look cool though. I like how it's coming together. All right, so yeah, quick look like that. But that'll be that. All right. Thanks everybody for popping in, keeping me company. Quick fun stream, and hey, kicking off the weekend right? Have a good Friday. Have a good rest of your weekend. Thank you. Good luck out there to you. And I will. I'll probably do a quick stream right before I post this and finish it off. But next thing will be, we'll have something that feels like a plan for the vertical out there. Do something different. Got to give the people what they want. All right. Catch you next time.